Imagine a world where you cannot read what you want, where books are banned and voices are silenced. It sounds dystopian, right? Well, believe it or not, that is the direction we seem to be heading in some parts of the world today. From the banning of books to censoring opinions online, it becomes harder and harder for people to freely express their ideas, and that is a problem. Here in Hungary, between 1949 and 1989, countless books were censored and banned outright by the communist regime. Authors who dared to criticise the government or explored themes of individuality, freedom and human rights faced dire consequences. Among the most notable banned authors were Sándor Márai, whose works about exile and identity resonated deeply, and Imre Kertész, who wrote profoundly about the Holocaust. Their books were often inaccessible, forcing many to seek out underground or black market copies just to read their words. This is something we're going to cover in today's video, and if you get anything from this, would you consider subscribing to the channel? Books have always been a way for us to explore ideas, challenge authority, and understand perspectives different from our own. But banning books, that is much bigger. It's not just about stopping one story. It's about controlling the narrative and ultimately controlling people's ability to think for themselves. And this isn't just happening far in the past. Believe it or not, it's actually happening in real time right now. When I went to Amsterdam, probably about a year ago now, we went to a bookshop and I noticed books in there that I had never seen in the UK market, but all very taboo subjects like the criticism of certain political leaders and certain world events that are now coming out as scandals in the cures that they deemed safe. The answer is powerful. When you control what people can read, see, or even say, you control how they think. And when you control how they think, you control them. And that's why book banning and censorship are so dangerous. When we allow it to happen, we essentially give away our ability to judge for ourselves what is right and what is wrong. Here's a list of books that really surprised me that made it onto the list of banned literature. First, we have this one here, which is Operation Dark Heart by Anthony Shafter. This was banned in the USA. Now, this was a very weird one that I didn't realise was going to be on the list, but Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, the 1865 version, this one was banned in China. Then we have this one, which is Unfree Speech by Joshua Wong. This was also banned in China, and you'll find a documentary of this on Netflix, I believe. Now, these two are by the same author, George Orwell. We have Animal Farm and 1984. These were banned in a few countries. We have Russia, Vietnam and Czechoslovakia. Then we have The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown. This was banned in Lebanon. Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. This was banned in South Africa. Now this one I can't wait to pick up for myself, but it's called How to Read Donald Duck. This is by the authors Ariel Dothman and Armand Matellart. This was banned in Chile. These are just a few that I seem to have seen on the list that really caught my eye. However, the list is interesting, but it is also lengthy too. I would suggest that you check it out on Wikipedia. Whilst browsing the banned books, think of this question. Why are these books trying to be erased from our lives if it wasn't something that someone wanted to hide? I read a quote the other day, I think it was from Stephen King who said it, but he said, when books are banned from school libraries, run to the public library or the nearest bookstore and read what it is that your elders don't want you to know. He reinstated this on X too with this post. Interesting. But censorship isn't limited to books. Today we see it happening more and more on social media, where people are being silenced for sharing their opinions, rational opinions, on platforms like Facebook, X or YouTube. It's something we should all be concerned about, especially when governments start punishing people for what they're saying online. When you jail someone for a Facebook post, you know that you're not just censoring their voice, you're sending a message to everyone else as well. You're saying, stay in line or this could happen to you. And that is not how a free society should work. There's really no coincidence that the people who often face censorship or cancel culture are the ones who challenge the powerful institutions. I can think of a few figures that pop to mind. We have Russell Brand and Tucker Carlson. These people are challenging the news every single day. Whether or not you agree with everything that they say, the fact remains is that they're being targeted for speaking out against mainstream narratives, for questioning the very system in place that some people don't want questioned. They've been cancelled, they've been smeared and sidelined as well, but not because they're dangerous, but because what they're saying makes people in power very uncomfortable. And when powerful people feel threatened, their first instinct is to silence those who challenge them. But here's the real question. Why are they so desperate to hide the truth? What is going on behind closed doors that makes them feel so uneasy about people speaking out? We know that when people speak out, whether through books, films, or social media posts, it exposes corruption, injustice, and hypocrisy. It pulls back the curtain of the system that controls us. History has shown us that suppressing voices never works in the long run. In fact, it often makes those ideas more powerful. But in the short term, silencing dissent can maintain control and keep people in line. That is exactly what is happening when cancel culture is weaponized. It is the modern day version of book banning. So the real question then is, how do we fight back? How are we able to reclaim the space for free and open dialogue? It's not easy, but there are a few things that we can do. Support independent media. One of the most powerful ways to fight censorship is to support independent voices, media outlets, creators, and journalists who aren't controlled by large corporations or political interests. These are the people who still have the freedom to speak truth to power. Promote critical thinking. Another important step is to teach people to think critically. Think of media literacy, understanding how information is presented and why. This is so crucial in a world where narratives are tightly controlled. The more people question what they're told, the harder it is for anyone to control the conversation. Building online communities. The irony behind it is that social media is both a tool for censorship and a platform for resistance. By being able to build strong communities online that support free speech, we create a space where people can share ideas without the fear of being silenced. Use legal protections. We also need to push for stronger legal protections for free speech. In many places, these laws exist, but they aren't always enforced. Supporting organisations that fight for these rights is another way that we can resist. Art and cultural resistance. Finally, we can support artists, filmmakers, writers, those who actually use their platforms to challenge censorship and to push boundaries. Art has always been a powerful way to speak truth to power. At the end of the day, free speech is more than just a right, it is a foundation of a healthy society. It is how we hold power accountable, challenge those wrongs that they say, and to push for a better world. And when we lose that, we lose the ability to judge for ourselves what's true, what's important, and what kind of future we actually want to build. Next time that you hear about a book being banned or someone being cancelled for expressing an opinion, don't just shrug it off. Ask yourself why. Ask who benefits from silencing that voice and what truth that they're trying to hide. Because the truth is, when we actually fight for free speech, we're fighting for our own freedom, and that is a battle that we cannot afford to lose. Thank you very much for watching. If you got anything from this, make sure that you like and subscribe down below. And also, if you believe in free speech, share your voice. Comment down below, let everyone know how you feel as well, and never stop questioning. Thanks for watching, and speak to you soon. Hopefully.